Okay, recording. All right, guys, welcome to the call tonight. I'm so excited because I was talking to Colleen today and I asked her to share her story with you and kind of pop on last minute to host. So I so appreciate her flexibility and your flexibility and just rolling with this. So Colleen and I know each other actually from just Beachbody in general, like going to the events and seeing each other. And for those of you who are in Cancun, I was trying to emphasize the importance of if you're at Summit or Super Saturday that you just start saying hi to people, because if they're coaches, chances are they're awesome people, whether they're on our team or not, whether they're like a top 10 coach or someone that's just getting started. So making those relationships not only helps you build friendships, but then as you're building your business, they're just great people to like throw ideas off of, you know, each other and share content, co-host calls or guest host calls. So I just want to encourage you guys again to like not be shy and not be afraid to make friends. And I'm the most shy person. So like, luckily for me, I have Jay to kind of break the ice, but the relationships I built through Beachbody are just completely priceless to me. So I urge you to get to Summit, to make friends, like whoever you're standing in line with, just start saying hi, and it will lead to amazing things. So to put the spotlight on Colleen, she is an incredible leader, and it's been so amazing getting to know her. She's from California, Northern California, and she's currently a 4-star diamond coach, or 4-star qualifying, currently ranked 83 in the entire company. So out of almost 300,000 coaches, she is the 83rd ranked coach, which is such a feat. That's incredible. And it just goes to show, you know, speaks to her leadership. She's a Success Club All-Star alum, which means that she's hit Success Club for over 12 months in a row. Going on probably a million months at this point. So speaking to like the consistency of her business. So tonight she's going to share a little bit about mastering you know, your mindset in the business. And the cool part about her story is that at the time when we're going through difficult things, when maybe someone has wronged us or things aren't going as planned and you're just really frustrated, it can be seen as just this mountain that you have to climb. And it's like, why is everything against me? And when you switch your mindset into like stop playing the victim and you start just empowering yourself, you can literally move those mountains, and the warts and the terrible things that happened in your past are the things that make your success story that much sweeter and that much more inspirational. If you think about any movie ever made, like I don't know if you guys saw that movie Unbroken, if that Olympian had just gone on to go to war, and you know that in itself would be such a traumatic story, but like the hurdles that he had to overcome through it, that's what makes it inspirational, not just him having this amazing life and everything was easy as pie. So a lot of you guys as newer coaches are going through some of those struggles right now. So I think it's very important to surround yourself with not only our community, but hearing these amazing success stories so you can see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I promise you, your life ahead is going to be so much more amazing than you can ever even imagine. So I'm going to mute myself and let her kind of take it from here.
Thanks, Katie. I'm so excited to be here tonight. You guys are the lucky number 22 today because I've done this call or been at Super Saturday 22 times doing this. So I'm a little obsessed with it. And so I am not shy. I am kind of more on the crazier side. So hopefully you guys can handle that tonight. I love all the faces on here and the moms and the babies. This is cool. Okay, so first I kind of want to say how I did meet Katie so you guys can know, because she probably doesn't remember, but I do. And then I'll tell my story, and then we're going to get into mindset.
Yeah,
so last year, little baby. I think. There you go. I don't mind babies, but I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, so I've been a coach for, actually next month is my 2-year anniversary, and I was lucky enough to earn the cruise because when you hit diamond back in the day, they gave you the Success Club trip for free. So I was super lucky that I was able to earn the cruise, and I forgot my entire suitcase of makeup and shoes. Like, who does that? You're going on a Beachbody trip. First of all, if you know me, I love makeup. Katie and I were just talking about that. And what girl doesn't love her shoes? So I'm having a panic attack, and I live my life by everything happens for a reason. And I'm looking at my fiance, and I said, Sean, what's this reason? And who messages me? Lindsay Stay. And she goes, hey girl, I have no idea what size shoe you are. Mind you, it's 3 a.m. there, midnight for me in California. She goes, I have no idea what size shoe you are, but I read your post and I'll share shoes. I'm 5'4" and a size 10. Lindsay Stay is a size 10 and she's not 5'4". So everything does happen for a reason, because I met Lindsay Stay that way and I started talking to her in the cruise, and I went up to Katie and Jay and all the awesome girls in the Bombshell, and I'm not in the Bombshell dynasty. And so it was, you know, as a brand new coach, it was my first event. I went up to them and, you know, you kind of have that celebrity moment, because that's what it was to me. I didn't know any of these people. I was on this trip like, oh my goodness. And I remember Jay goes, are you on our team? Because I was just like being friendly and being me. I'm like, no, I'm not on your team. And then, so that's actually how I met Katie. And then we were in the customs line checking out, and she was just being sweet to me. So seriously, when you get to events, make sure you say hi to people. Definitely, you know, share a story with them. Don't be afraid to do that, because I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't have done that. So a little bit about myself. I'm 29, going on 30 this summer, getting married in 56 days. My 2-year anniversary is on my wedding day. I don't know if that's ironic, weird, or creepy, but everything happens for a reason, right? I'll get into that later. I was actually born and raised in Massachusetts. So I was an East Coast girl until I was about 23. Went to college, and I got a great corporate job. I use a lot of quotations when I talk. I got this fancy corporate job because I worked so hard on my resume, and I got good grades. I did all the things I was supposed to do. And I played college volleyball, and I just thought I was going to go on to this corporate job being a retail store manager for Verizon Wireless forever. And the reason why I thought that was because in my company and my resume had to be solid. Like, that's all I thought I had to do. And so I got that job. I did very well as retail management, did that for about 5.5 years. And I think back to it, I was 23 years old managing about 30 people. And it's crazy because I don't really know how I did that job so young, but it taught me so much. So again, everything happens for a reason. But when I turned 23, I got really antsy to travel. And so I started traveling. I fell in love with the West Coast. California was calling my name from the very first time. I don't know if you guys follow me, but I live in Lake Tahoe, literally like a postcard land out here. Like, it looks like the front of a magazine whenever I walk down to the lake. So the first time I fell in love with the lake, I said, I have to live there. So I was able to transfer my Verizon job, because I wasn't going to leave that fancy job, to a store that was about an hour away. So I was making a commute to work, and I ended up working for the devil. Straight up, worked for the worst human being known to mankind on this planet. She's Satan. Still to this day, I wake up and I've had nightmares about her. She verbally abused me. I mean, the only thing she didn't do was physically abuse me, because she couldn't. But I mean, I still can't believe that I allowed her for so long to just bash on me and make me feel very insignificant. So I worked for her as long as I could. And one day she came and said, hey, Colleen, I have an amazing opportunity for you. I want to transfer you to the store because they need your help. You're a great leader, and you can help them go from the bottom to the top. Now, I'm always taught that if there's something that comes your way, and even though it's going to be a lot of work, it's going to make you stronger, and it's going to teach you something. So I took the job. I had to leave Lake Tahoe, move to Reno, Nevada, which, if you're familiar, is nothing like Lake Tahoe. And after 30 days of working there, I helped the store. I did my job. We brought the numbers up to the top. One day I come into work, and there's all these random people there that I'd never met before. And they hand me this white envelope, and they say, Colleen, I am sorry, your store is closing. There's a lot of things that happen in between, but if you can stop and think for a second, if anyone still has a job where you work at every day, maybe your husband does, maybe your wife does, and you walk in one day and it's gone like that. Everything that you knew, everything you thought was taken from you. And the sad part is the manager that I worked for, Miss Devil Pants, knew that store was closing. She didn't like me. She didn't want me to be there. She felt threatened by me. And so she found a way to get rid of me. And I mean, talk about really having to swallow your pride and swallow this huge pill. I was in major debt because I was so miserable at my job. My relationship with my then boyfriend, now fiance, was horrible. We were going through a breakup. My grandfather passed away. I mean, just really every punch being thrown at me. And so I called my dad and said, what am I going to do? And he said, I think this is a blessing in disguise. So after I realized I didn't have to go back to that hellhole anymore, excuse my French, I was actually kind of relieved. But I said, what am I going to do? You know, I had that stability in my job. I had a steady income. What am I going to do? So I started looking around of ways I could change my life, because the most important thing to me at that time was my health, which was in shambles. I had stomach ulcers. I wasn't sleeping. I mean, who has stomach ulcers from stress at the age of 25? I think that's kind of crazy. And I wanted to repair my relationship with my fiance. And he is a born and raised California boy, and I like to call him Mr. Rainbows and Butterflies. Always happy, everything's good. Like, you know, when I was down, he'd say, babe, just think positive and positive things will happen. And when you're in a really dark and deep place and someone says that to you, you just can't help but say, yeah, whatever. Like, that's not going to help me. So when I decided to start working on a relationship and changing my life, I knew of a friend that always had this glow to her, and that's my upline. She had lost 40 pounds. I didn't need to lose weight, but she just looked good. I also knew she was very successful with Beachbody. So I reached out to her at some crazy hour in the morning because I couldn't sleep. I bought T25 and Vanilla Shakeology. And for me, that was my opportunity to own my own business. I didn't see it as a part-time little opportunity. I didn't see it as a part-time job. I saw it as a chance to take my life back, and only one person had control of it, and it was me. So I ran with it, and I never looked back. And so a lot of people say, well, wait, you just kind of like did it? And I say, yes, I did, because there was a point in my life where I had to draw the line in the sand, and I didn't want to live that victim role anymore. I felt that I was taken advantage of. I was sick and tired of watching other people have success. And I know a lot of coaches, when you sign up, you're like, okay, I want this life. I daydream about X, Y, Z. I want to make that $100. I want to make $1 million, whatever your daydream is. But then we get stuck, and it's usually because of one thing. Because any and everyone is capable of being successful as a coach. And there's that one thing that's holding us back, and it's our mindset. And so for me, that's when I decided that I had to master my mindset. When I look around at successful people, Katie is one of them, you all know that they personally grow, they read books, they do the things that successful people are supposed to do. But a lot of people are just so stuck in their ways, and they say, well, I'm going to be who I am today and just do this coaching thing. But when you stop and think about it, you really just have to kind of put your hands up and say, okay, I surrender to this being really hard. This is not going to be easy. I'm going to be open-minded to the power of positivity, and I'm going to give this route a different try. Because for me, I wanted to do it my way when I should have been taking advice from other successful people. So today might seem like hocus pocus to you. It might seem like, oh, I don't need to do that. But I'm about to rock your world with some mindset stuff, okay? So again, I'm just asking you to be open-minded. And when we talk about mindset, there's a million things that mindset can mean. It can mean perspective. It can mean your thoughts. It can be self-love. There's a lot of things that encompass just the word mindset. So there is actually a difference between unsuccessful people and successful people. And I know this because it's true in my life, it's true in my world, and it's also all over the books that I read. And so that difference is good thinking. So let's put ourselves in Katie's shoes. I bet she wakes up every day, has a million things to do. She has so many goals. She's overcome so many obstacles. She's already worked hard to get to where she is. But in the beginning, as a newer coach, she didn't just wake up and go, oh yeah, this is gonna be a great day. You know, she had to practice her mindset and stay focused. So we all want to be successful, right? So there's a difference between successful people and unsuccessful people, and it's good thinking. So what does that even mean? So in easy terms, it's thinking about how you think. And so as adults, we're just kind of conditioned to just let our brain do its thing. Well, we already know everything we're supposed to know, right? I'm going to challenge you guys every single day that you wake up, when your feet hit the ground, I want you to think about your thinking. Let's say you knock your Shakeology on your laptop, you stub your toe, your kids are driving you crazy, your best coach quits, you miss Success Club, like that's stuff that happens, right? Crazy things happen. But if you can control your mindset, you can actually end up controlling the outcome that happens from there on forward. I'll give you an example of how perspective and thinking really makes a difference. So there's two sisters, they're hanging out in the kitchen, and one sister has been working so hard to get into this graduate program for her dream job. She worked and worked and worked, and she knew when she got accepted into this graduate program, it would be even more work. So she's sitting down at the table, she gets the letter of acceptance into the next graduate program, and she's so excited. This is what she wants. She's accepting it's gonna be a lot of work, but she's gonna grow and end up where she wants to go. The other sister that's sitting next to her, we'll say Sister A and Sister B. Sister B looks over her and goes, oh, that stinks. You have 4 more years of school. So everyone, every single day comes to a crossroad, and you have the opportunity, which is why mastering your mindset is so important and so powerful, that you can see it as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to personally grow, or an opportunity to just say, oh, that's too much work. It's all perspective. And so now some people get totally creeped out by this because they're starting to go through their day and they start catching themselves thinking about these negative thoughts that normally would just that would help them think negative or push them to think negative. But instead, I'm going to challenge you to catch yourself in that moment and say, no, I'm going to see this as an opportunity. Something that I challenge my team to do. They could be having the worst day. Name it. I'm not saying I've done it all, I've been there, but I've just learned how to always find the positive. If there is a day that you feel like you could just not master, if there's something happening, message me and I guarantee I'll find you something positive. I will find a way to turn it around for you because I've worked so hard at it. Just like working out, just like your physical transformation, this takes a lot of work. But when my new coaches join my team, I tell them, I say there's no secret to success. It's 50% mindset and 50% action. The only reason that people usually don't end up being successful is because they give up because they don't want to have to master the thoughts going on in their head, okay? So as a business owner, because we're all those CEOs of our own business, it's really important to be prepared and master your mindset because those crazy things will happen. I've had my best coaches quit. I've been down to needing 1 more point for Success Club and there's 6 hours left in the day. So you have that choice of being Coach A or Coach B. Do I want to go master and focus on what I can control, or do I throw my hands up and say, I missed Success Club, but there's still 6 hours left in the day? I'm challenging you. So how do I master my mindset? Do you guys ever wonder how people do the unthinkable? Katie mentioned an Olympian athlete earlier. Let's talk about some top coaches. Do you ever look at people like Janelle Summers? She's a 3-time superstar diamond. That means she has over 45 diamonds. And then there's coaches that say, I just can't do this. So there's the unthinkable that some of us just go, whoa, that's mind blown. I can tell you that there is one thing that those people have done in their life, and it's training their brain. Because I know Janelle didn't wake up every day and let fear and mindset get in her way. So it's important to train your brain and have a strong mind, because if we don't have our mind set on what we want and going in one direction, we're going to look to other people for validation. So for example, we're afraid to share our story, or maybe you're afraid to share your transformation. If you need others' validation, that means your mind is not strong enough yet. So you need to toughen that up a little bit. So that's why I think it's so important, because I've come to the point now that I'm not going to let anyone's thoughts or opinions or things floating around in their head, or even things that they say out loud, determine my life. I don't need their validation, and that has helped me so much. You'll eventually learn to kind of let that go, but you have to work at it. So there's a book that I definitely recommend. I'm pretty sure that Katie has talked about it or recommended it, I'm sure, and it's You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I think that's a really fun book for you to start with, to kind of get your mindset in the right, to put it in the right direction. And you have to open that book and read the first page and move on with an open mind. Don't go in there trying to tell the author, no, that's not true. You have to listen and just soak it up. I heard the coolest quote the other day. So normally it's you reap what you sow, but I heard it twisted a little bit and I love it so much more. You reap what you soak. So be a sponge, soak it up. Okay, for a long time, I had these barriers up, and I would put the yellow tape around me and be like, don't come near me. But when I finally put all my guards down and let it in, I see so many more beautiful things in this world now, and I actually love people. I used to not like people. So like I said before, it's a daily task and a daily effort. Every single time a thought creeps in your mind, just like, do I eat the cookie? Do I not eat the cookie? You have to teach your brain, not about the cookie, but teach your brain to think positive. And so a lot of people will start to try this and they're like, it's way too hard. Start small, just like I get weird and I talk to myself a lot, maybe not out loud, but I talk to myself in my head. Before I had a team of coaches, it took me 12 months. I spent a lot of time focusing on me because I didn't know how I was supposed to help others if I was all over the place. When a coach tells me they can't do something, I'm the worst person to say that to because I will prove that you can. And it's all because I've learned to master my mindset. So everything you feel today, all these beliefs that you have inside of you, whether maybe you're not confident, or maybe you're like, no way, I could never hit Success Club 20, or I'll never be able, I have the best example in a second. I could never do Insanity, right? That's a learned belief. You feel that way because of an experience where you just basically embedded it into your head. The best part about that learned belief is you can unlearn it if you're open-minded and willing to change. That's the key. So for me, I was a coach for 18 months. And I had been practicing this mastering your mindset stuff. And I said, I feel like I need to do something just totally crazy. And I said I would never do Insanity. When Insanity Max 30 came out, I said, I'm doing it and I'm proving it to myself. That's it. And I became obsessed with that idea. And if you've ever done Insanity Max 30, it's more mindset to me than physical in a way, because you have to tell your body to keep going. It's not your body telling your mind to keep going. So because I decided to commit to that program and I basically unlearned that belief that I couldn't do Insanity, I crushed Insanity. I'm going to be on the infomercial. This is just crazy. The person that said they couldn't do it is now going to be on that. So I hope that you guys can kind of roll with me and, really let those learned beliefs go and start to work on that, because you're going to start to feel a lot better. So all the energy that we put into negative worry and stress is completely wasted. So let's say we're freaking out about something and it's just eating you alive. I've trained myself over time and being part of this community that it's such a waste. I burned ulcers through my stomach a long time ago, which is how I found Shakeology, because my belly needed some love, that it was so wasted. And so now if I'm frustrated with something, I might have a little freak out for a second, and then I'm like, Colleen, get it together, and I put myself on a positive path. Not easy, but you can do it. So something I recommend that you do, or actually not recommend, I'm going to challenge you guys, I'm going to ask Katie, who's stepping up to the plate, is you have to empower yourself. You have to start doing the things that are outside your comfort zone. Hi Jay. Some people dive head first. Some people take the tiniest little baby step. I will give you the biggest hug and the biggest high five in the world. I don't care what you do, just do something. Because, Insanity for me was diving head first, but I seriously felt like, dude, I can do this. I'm doing it 30 minutes a day. I'm making it happen. And that's how you start to build up your confidence. You start to feel that girl bossy feeling. You start to feel like a badass after a while. And so you can't do it by standing back and watching. You just have to, pick something maybe that that you've supposed to be, why can't I talk right now? That you were supposed to be doing, but you haven't done. Okay, take a little step in that direction, and then hopefully you'll be able to conquer that task, whatever it may be. Once I stopped living that victim role and I decided I want to be the victor. I don't want to be the person that said, I got laid off, my life stinks, I'm in debt, I'm not going to live the American dream. I was so sick of that I said, I'm going to be the victor. So when I'm talking to people, I say, do you want to feel like that still? You have the opportunity right in your lap to feel better, to look better, to do better, to be better, everything. We have that opportunity as Team Beachbody coaches. Something that helped me that might be so corny to you guys, but when I was stuck in the moment of, okay, I can't stop being negative, I would actually say the word forward. It was the only thing that helped me get through it. I said it under my breath. I said it to myself. I wrote it on my mirror, whatever you want to do, but tell yourself to move forward. There's something so freeing when you start to get that routine down. Maybe you're stuck right now in your business. Maybe you're so frustrated at home or work, whatever it is. But if you can tell yourself to, the only thing you have control over in a really frustrating scenario is your thoughts when you think about it. If you can't control something by, doing something immediately, if you can't change those results, the only thing you can control is your thoughts. So we might as well start there. So why can some people lose 100 pounds and other people are like, I can't even lose 5 pounds? I personally think it's because of self-limitations. Anyone can do it. We all know that as coaches because we would tell our challengers that, right? Other people have do it. You can do it too. But it really all comes down to self-limitations, and that's it. So what's actually holding you back? It's an ugly 4-letter word, and it's fear. We could also say failure. We could also say mindset. But fear is not tangible. I can't touch it when I'm scared. It's all emotional, which comes from here. So if you can work on this, then you're not going to have that fear. Like right now, literally, nothing scares me. Like maybe spiders and jumping off a roof or something, but I'm not scared of the scary beach body things. I will stand up in front of as many people and share this because I've worked and worked at it. So you might ask yourself, well, how am I supposed to start doing that? What's your role in your team page? Do you guys wait for Katie to post something, or do you guys step up and give? You can't be just a taker all the time. You have to give. There's a book I read called The Go-Giver, and it's by Bob Berg. It's like a 100-page story. And after I read that book, I basically was like, facepalm, I want to go back and fix my whole life. I wanted to give and give and give and give before I was ever going to get. When before in my life, I would do something and say, okay, where's my reward? But you have to be a go-giver. Give and give and give and give, and then you will get. Which is kind of like, in coaching, you're giving your all to this, and sometimes you're like, where's the money? Hello, I've been here for a year. It's not happening. Keep giving, and then one day, as long as you're putting in the work, you'll go, oh, there's the getting part. Okay, so when you surrender and accept that life is hard and just say, like for myself, this year is the craziest year of my life, literally. I could talk forever, so I won't get into it too much, but I have 11 trips. My fiance has overcome testicular cancer. We're getting married. I'm growing my business. Like, everything is crazy, but you know what? I already knew 2015 was going to be hard because I started it, and I said, all right, I'm surrendering. We're going to do this. So that when a challenge came my way, it actually felt easy in a way. I don't really know how to explain it other than that, but I love a good challenge now. So if you ever look at successful people and wonder how they become more successful. If you guys ever, like Katie's the best example. Do you guys ever go, how does she just keep getting these amazing coaches? How does she keep getting more successful? It's because she's putting out those vibrations. So whatever you put out there is what you're going to get back. And so for me, my whole life, I was a magnet for negativity, and that's all I got back. No wonder, right? So when you accept this process, when you accept the hard days, and you trust this process of why is this happening, you will learn to love it a little bit more, accept and trust it. And then I'm going to close with this. Failure, that big ugly word. Failure is usually our biggest fear, okay? Failure is usually the reason that people either quit, or the fear of failure, sorry. The reason that they quit, or why challengers don't sign up with us. And so Mindy Wender taught me this. I want you guys to replace the word failure with stumble. Because when you stop and think, we don't actually ever fail in this business. Like Carl Deichler's not like, Katie, what's up? You only hit Success Club 41 last month. You didn't hit 42. He doesn't do that. He's not checking in on you. So let's replace that word failure with stumble. The only time that you fail is when you quit. That's the only time. The only time. And so let's replace the word, the only time that you stumble. Sorry, I always do that. Stumbling is my biggest fear. That kind of sounds silly, right? So stumbling is my biggest fear. That's why I don't want to do this. I think we'd be crazy if we told someone that. So it's all mindset. This word failure, there's really no failure in this business. The fact that you even signed up and you're on this call right now, you're rocking it, okay? So failure is only a delay. You didn't, if you missed a goal, you didn't break your head off and your arms off and your legs off and it's not rolling down the hill. You're fine. It's just a small little delay. I've, like I said, lost my best coaches. I went from 1-star to emerald last year. My fiance's account is now from 2-star to diamond. I lost my 6-star qualification. Like, things happen and it crushes my heart. And it is what it is. I've accepted it and it's making me stronger. It makes me more excited to share my story and say, look, I've overcome those struggles too. So personal development is what changed my life. I was the person who went through school and hated reading. I kind of cheated my way through school. I was not a school person. My sister was going to school to be a doctor, so we're total polar opposites. But I look at personal development as my toolbox. So I have this fancy little tool belt and I'm walking around, and every single time that I listen to a podcast or that I go to an event or that I read a book, I am taking a tool and shoving it in my belt. And you might not use it today, but there might come a point, even outside of this business, that you go, oh, I remember reading about that, and now I know what to do. And so if you're not reading every day, why not? It's not because we tell you to. It's because we love you and want you to grow and have those aha moments. So some of the books I recommend, like I said before, You Are a Badass, Go Giver by Bob Burg. The best one. It's called No Excuses by Brian Tracy. I read that book and I reread the first chapter over and over again, and it's what made me realize that it's my responsibility to grow my business. It's my responsibility to rank advance. It's my responsibility to help other people change their life. It all of a sudden was just this big smack in the face that was like, it's on you, girl. And it empowered me just from reading a book. So that for me was something I loved. And then Thinking for a Change by John C. Maxwell. I mean, John C. Maxwell is amazing, but that one for me was really cool, and I've adopted so many. I love how John C. Maxwell actually gives you tangible things to go and apply. So I want you all to master your mindset, because when you do, you're going to feel a huge sense of relief when you're trying to tackle your goals and go through your day. You're going to feel so much better about it, and that is when you become unstoppable and do the unthinkable. That's what I have to say.
Woo! I just could not echo what Colleen has shared anymore, and I actually took a couple notes just because I wanted to emphasize a couple of the points that she made. So I'll just start at the back of my notes and move my way forward. Jay's here, by the way. So I love, Colleen, that you said that you reread some of the personal development. So one thing that I keep hearing, it keeps coming up in my personal development from Darren Hardy and Tony Robbins, is it's one thing to consume information, and they say it in a much more eloquent way, but it's one thing to consume information. Let's just say I'm reading a book a month, but it's another thing to master it. So if you're just doing your personal development and blazing through books, but you're not really soaking it in and absorbing it and learning to master it, then it kind of just goes away. So if there's a book, I absolutely loved The Go Giver, but, Rock Your Network Marketing Business, if you're just getting started, if there's a book that you really just feel like, okay, I got the gist of it, but I haven't really had a chance to sink my teeth into it, don't be afraid to reread a book. It might feel like, oh, I'm not getting through all the personal development books they're talking about. I would rather you read one book 12 times than 12 different books and not really soak it in. So that's the first thing. The second thing I took a note on was your failures or your stumbling blocks. I think a lot of the times when we have failures, or maybe we're not making a rank goal, it's because there's a lesson that we still have yet to learn. So maybe, Colleen's not ready to be a 6-star diamond to lead her team. And when she does get to that point, she will be more than equipped to handle it. So the same goes for your business. If you think, okay, you're going for diamond right now maybe, or ruby right now, or 1-star. If you think about yourself as a business leader, ask yourself the question, am I acting as a diamond? Am I acting as a star diamond? And you have to keep in mind that you always have to be one step ahead of where you currently are in the business. So for me, I want to be acting like a 10-star diamond instead of just 8-star, because I want to get to that next level. So always doing those little self-evaluations and looking for the lesson in that stumbling block so that you're not repeating the same mistake over and over. But I love that you emphasize not being afraid of it, because we're all going to fail. I've told you guys about my emails. I sent out these emails to my customers. I had this email list. I thought it was the most brilliant thing I ever did. I kept adding people to the list for 2 years. And one day I was like, I should probably take a look at what I'm sending them. And I was completely horrified at these like really transparent, salesy, tacky emails that I had been sending people. So I had almost like a mini meltdown. But then the other part of me was like, okay, I built a 6-figure income business off of, partially staying in contact with my customers via email. So while it was incredibly embarrassing, I learned a lot from that and just was able to improve upon it and move on and not dwell on the failure aspect of it. The other thing, when she talked about the go-giver, I loved exactly what you were saying about, not just being a taker and expecting things to fall into your lap. So another book that I read, what was that book? The Facebook CEO? Oh, Lean In. Lean In. She called, I forget, she was talking about in a corporate world, but she called it the tiara effect. So she said that a lot of women in today's, workforce do a good job. They're sitting there doing what they have to do, whether it's the bare minimum or whether they're like really pushing forward. And they have this expectation that someone's going to come along, see that they're doing a good job, and plunk a tiara on top of their head and promote them or, elevate their business in whatever way.
The Cinderella.
She called it the tiara effect.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sounds like Cinderella.
It's the tiara effect. But anyway, so no one's going to come along, as much as like I love to praise you guys and do recognition, no one's going to come along and put a tiara on your head and say, good job well done. You have to really take it upon yourself to build your business, to build your mindset up, and to, always think about where you can give, because the more you give, the more you're going to receive. So not just thinking, what resources can I get out of the team page? I love that you go in there. I love that you get resources, but the only way that we grow as a team and as, Team Beachbody is if we're all kind of plugging in and, putting in, whether you think it's the most minor suggestion, it doesn't matter. You might have mastered something, or maybe you have a really great challenge group post that everyone's responding to. Don't be afraid to share stuff like that, because that's how we all tinker with our own challenge groups and make them better. Going on your insanity example, I posted actually like a little like promo picture for everyone to kind of get to know who you are before the call. And of course I had to like show your 6-pack abs and your amazing legs. And one thing, I don't know if you guys ever have felt this way, but I think it's really cool to hear Colleen's backstory, because when you just see someone on Facebook, you see their highlight reel, you see her with 6-pack abs, you don't think, oh, she ever thought insanity would be hard. You're just like, oh, that girl's super fit. She's awesome. Like, of course she's in the infomercial. So I thought that was really cool that you shared that was something that you never thought that you could possibly do. And you've completely like nailed it, kicked butt, look better than some of the people in the video. Okay, and then my last takeaway, and then we can open it up for just a couple questions, is the fact that working on your mindset takes practice. It's just like building a muscle. Like your mindset is a muscle, and at first you're going to be very weak or very, not very good at it. But the more that you do it, the more that you make a conscious effort every day. Like she said, when your feet hit the ground, that you put in your mind, I'm going to like master my mindset. I'm going to be conscious of what I'm thinking about. You're going to get stronger and stronger. And then eventually it just becomes a habit. So I'm sure for now, for Colleen right now, it's just part of her life. She doesn't even have to think about it. And I always think about when you first learn to drive, seriously, my parents had to make me go get my license because I was the big scaredy cat. I just remember being so overwhelmed with like everything coming at me. It's like paying attention to the road. I don't know where all this stuff is, where your turn signal is. You're turning on like the windshield wipers. You don't know what's going on. And then after you drive for a while, it just is, you're so on autopilot that I could be listening to an audiobook, talking, eating, drinking, not all at once, but like, you get what I'm saying. It becomes so second nature that you don't even have to think about it. It's just your brain takes it all in and does what it needs to do, and you get to where you need to go safely. So think of your mindset in that same, aspect. It's going to be really overwhelming at first. You might think, oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts. I don't know how I'm going to control all of them. Just baby step it and just know that through diligence and through consistency that you will master it and wake up and have this, like, I don't want to say rose-colored glasses, but you'll have a positive spin on things that happen and are more willing to look for the lesson than just to, throw up your hands in defeat. Because I've had 2-star diamonds fall to emerald. I've had diamond coaches quit, like straight up just quit their account. Crazy things that you never think are going to happen that do. And if you're not equipped, if you don't have the tool belt to be able to handle it, it's really easy to let those things control your business and let the fear take over, let the frustration take over. So I just absolutely loved everything she had to say. Does anyone have any takeaways or questions for her while we have her on the call? We're like monopolizing her time. You can even type them in the chat if you guys want.
I like questions, so if you guys have any.
Do you have any questions?
I had no idea that your soon-to-be husband was having cancer, and that surprises me. That's just such a scary thing that someone's so fit, and just like when you look at him, he glows with the radiance of just like you do, but the male version of that. You guys are gonna make super babies, right? You can, right? Did I say something bad? Okay. So yes.
No.
Well, I didn't know because I didn't know if you would stop that from happening. But I'm super. Send him my love.
Yeah.
Send him my love, and I'm so proud to call you my friend.
Aw, thanks. Yeah, it was actually we were on the cruise and Sean had a hernia on the cruise.
Oh,
and that's how we found out. It was like he texted it to me. So when he texted it to me, I had like this weird smirk on my face, like we're gonna rock this, like it's all good. But had that have happened 2 years ago, I would have been crumbling in the corner, So mastering our mindset has been so huge for us.
I had some feedback or comments that I love, Colleen, how you talked about just putting your head down and never giving up and just staying 100% committed to something. And the number one coach of the network, Melanie Mitro, in Cancun had stated, if you're struggling with your business, and I'm paraphrasing, but if you're struggling with your business, the one thing you can control is pressing play and getting your workout in every single day. If you are staying consistent and doing your workout every single day, people are going to see that via social media. People are going to see that you're engaged. They're going to see that you're committed, and that this wasn't just something that you were, it wasn't a CrossFit membership that you signed up for so you could talk about it at the water cooler. It's something serious that they're getting results. And then, that dedication puts you on not everyone's going to get on an infomercial, but that's pretty dang cool. You deserve to be on the infomercial. I saw that picture and I was like, that's Colleen. I was like, dang. So good for you. Kudos. Get your workout in every day.
Real quick, did you notice like a spike in your business after you did the entire Insanity Max 30, like committing to a program? Because you didn't have a ton of weight to lose, but you had pretty awesome transformation.
So it's hilarious to me that I actually never sold one Insanity Max. Still to this day, I don't know if it's just like, but my business grew because when that launched is when Sean was going through his stuff. And I went on my team page and I said, guys, this is what's happening in my life, but I'm going to take this time to rock it. I'm planning my wedding. Like, this is crazy. It's New Year. And so because of that all together, I feel like my business grew. It has doubled. And it wasn't only because, I got fit and I was selling challenge packs, but it was because people saw me show up every single day. So that's really what it definitely helped. Like exactly what Jay just said when Melanie said, at least press play every day, like get serious about loving yourself, get serious about like your attitude and share that with people. Like we can be as fit as we want, we can drink as many shakes as we want, but really like, are we changing lives? So if you can do that, even with all the craziness, like I feel like I can do anything. If I can plan a wedding, go through all this and grow my business, I feel like I can do anything.
I agree. I don't know if you can see the chat, but there is a question from Erica and I can read it.
Sure.
Take a recording. She asked, how do you regroup after losing rank and losing coaches? I feel like I keep going through the same thing and have a hard time knowing how to pick back up and move forward without feeling like I'm constantly being affected by it.
So it totally makes sense, yes. And it's a really common question whenever I share that, because again, people look at it and they go, oh my goodness, you lost your rank too. And it's like, we all do go through struggles at some point. And so here's my challenge and here's my advice. When I signed up, I said, I'm going to live in the 2-year world. And what that means is I'm not going to worry about tomorrow or Sunday or next month. I'm going to set my goals and show up every day. But I'm thinking about, I'm in this for the long run. And so when you think about like losing your rank today, where are you going to be in 2 years? You're not even going to ever think about losing that rank today in 2 years from now. So I think in the future, and I know that I get right back to work. There were times in my business where nothing was happening and I was working literally as hard as I possibly could. But I know that kind of how the compound effect works. If I put in work as much as I can this week, it's going to show up next month. And so just keep, every day that you don't show up, it will hurt your business. And every day that you kind of have that give up, well, I'm going to take off for a month, it will hurt you for another month. So just stand back up, accept it's going to be hard, know that everyone goes through it. And what really, really, really counts is how proactive you are in changing that. So be solution oriented rather than kind of stressing out about what happened, because it is what it is. And I went through it too. Literally just last week happened to me again. I dropped.
Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing is Emerald is really the only rank where you can control your advancing. The rest is all up to your team. You know, I can't make up diamonds. I can't make up, you know, people. So it's tough in that sense, but then what you can control, how many people you invite, how many people you're reaching out to, how consistent you are. And I always think like, what kind of leader would I want to sign up with? You know, if I was on Facebook and now, you know, people have access to follow you guys. If they're on my page, you know, they can follow you guys just as easily as vice versa. And I always think, would I want to sign up with the person that's posting every once in a while and I can't tell if they're still a coach, or do I want to sign up with the person that's showing up every day, showing me that they're serious about their workouts, that it's someone that I look up to. So those are things that you can take ownership of and control to like make sure you're leading by the absolute best example you can.
And Erica, make sure too, and I'm not like pinpointing you, this probably goes for everyone else too. I mean, like I'm rereading exactly what you wrote, moving forward without feeling like I'm constantly being affected by it. It's mastering your mindset. So are you letting it bother you? If you are, then you know you need to focus on your mindset. And I only say that because someone said that to me once and I was like, oh, I'm not eating my own medicine. So it's not easy, but you can do it.
Awesome. Thanks for the question. Anybody else? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. Any shy last-minute people? All right, guys. Thank you so much for getting on. Thank you for getting on at bedtime. I know that a lot of baths were happening and putting children to bed, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your night. Colleen, we appreciate you so, so, so much. Thank you a million times.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I love doing this. I'm crazy about it.